The Earth is the third nearest planet to the Sun. In size, it is the fifth largest planet. Because it is slightly flattened at the poles, its shape is described as geoid, means an Earth-like shape. The planet Earth was initially a barren, rocky and hot object with a thin atmosphere of hydrogen and helium. The Earth has a layered structure. From the outermost end of the atmosphere to the center of the Earth, the material that exists is not uniform. The atmospheric matter has the least density. From the surface to the deeper depths, the Earth's interior has different zones, and each of these contains materials with different characteristics. Now we'll discuss how was the layered structure of the Earth developed. The Earth was mostly in a volatile state during its primordial stage. Due to gradual increase in density, the atmosphere inside has increased. As a result, the material inside started getting separated depending on their densities. This allowed heavier materials like iron to sink toward the center of the Earth and the lighter ones to move towards the surface. With passage of time, it cooled further and solidified and condensed into a smaller size. This latter led to the development of the outer surface in the form of a crust. During the formation of the moon due to the giant impact, the Earth was further heated up. It is through the process of differentiation that the Earth forming material got separated into different layers. Starting from the surface to the central parts, we have layers like the crust, mantle, outer core and inner core. From the crust to the core, the density of the material increases. Evolution of atmosphere and hydrosphere. There are three stages in the evolution of the present atmosphere. The first stage is marked by the loss of the primordial atmosphere. In the second stage, the hot interior of the Earth contributed to the evolution of the atmosphere. Finally, the composition of atmosphere was modified by the living world through the process of photosynthesis. The early atmosphere with hydrogen and helium is supposed to have been stripped off as a result of the solar winds. This happened not only in the case of Earth but also in all the terrestrial planets, which were supposed to have lost their primordial atmosphere through the impact of solar winds. During the cooling of the Earth, gases and water vapor were released from the interior of the Earth. This started the evolution of the present atmosphere. The early atmosphere largely contained water vapor, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, methane, ammonia, and very little of free oxygen. The process through which the gases were outpoured from the interior is called degassing. Continuous volcanic eruptions contributed water vapor and gases to the atmosphere. As the Earth cooled, the water vapor released started getting condensed. The carbon dioxide in the atmosphere got dissolved in rainwater and the temperature further decreased, causing more condensation and more rains. The rainwater falling on the surface got collected in the depression to give rise to the oceans. The formation of oceans occurred 4 billion years ago. Sometimes around 3.8 billion years ago, life began to evolve. However, around 2.5 to 3 billion years ago, the process of photosynthesis got evolved. Life was confined to the oceans for a long time. Oceans began to have the contribution of oxygen through the process of photosynthesis. Eventually, oceans were saturated with oxygen, and 2 billion years ago, oxygen began to flood the atmosphere. Modern scientists refer to the origin of life as a kind of chemical reaction which first generated complex organic molecules and assembled them. This assemblage was such that they could duplicate themselves, converting inanimate matter into living substance. The record of life that existed on this planet in different periods is found in rocks in the form of fossils. The microscopic structures closely related to the present form of blue algae have been found in geological formations much older than some 3 billion years ago. It can be assumed that the life began to evolve sometimes 3.8 billion years ago. So this is how the universe, all the stars, planets and all celestial bodies evolved with the time. Thank you.